How's it going, everyone? I'm Sean and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I use a bandsaw to resaw, split a piece of wood for a guitar top. The wood I'm going to be doing is this beautiful piece of burl oak, which I'm going to split right down the middle, and I will get a carved top out of this for a Les Paul style guitar, something similar. So if this is something you're interested in, grab yourself a nice hot cup of tea, coffee, whatever you want, get comfortable, and let's get into it. The bandsaw I am going to be using for this operation is this guy. This is a Record Power Sabre 350. It's a fabulous bandsaw. I'm not sponsored or anything by them, but I would be, Record Power, if you're listening. This is a great bandsaw, perfectly fine for what we're doing. Couple of things of note before we start into any of this. First of all, most importantly, PPE, safety, health and safety, all of that thing. Got to be aware of this. This is a big beefy machine. This will take your fingers off if you're not careful with it. We are going to be careful, so we're not going to lose fingers, but it is really, really important to just know and understand that this can be a destructive machine if you're not careful with it. I've just set up this bandsaw perfectly, so it is cutting beautifully. If you want to see how I set up my bandsaws and everything, go check out my other video. There will be a link in description and a link in one of these corners, wherever it is, how to get your bandsaw cutting beautifully well and how to get the fence lined up perfectly on it, which is absolutely necessary for this kind of procedure. Everything is lined up on this straight, square, and just good. And so I'm very, very confident. When we're using the machine, I'm going to have hearing protection on and I'm going to have goggles on as well. You should also wear a mask whenever you use any kind of woodworking machinery because it kicks up dust and dust gets into lungs and lungs don't like dust. This machine also has fabulous extraction, which I highly recommend you also have on your own machine if you're going to try doing this. I'm also going to be using one of these. This is a, what makes it? Mag switch thing. It's effectively a featherboard style thing. Something like that would work perfectly fine. This has a bunch of bearings here, so you'll see as I set it up, this just helps keep sideways pressure against the fence on the piece, and it will just help me keep it square and make life easier for me. And at the end of the day, we all want an easy life. You can also use a featherboard, something like that, or you can just use your own hand pressure, but of course, be careful with that. Hands close to blades, not great. It is also absolutely worth noting that this piece, while it does look a bit ridiculous at the moment, these two faces are parallel to each other and this bottom edge is square to those faces. I don't really care about the rest of it, but it is very, very important that you have those faces and one edge good, just so you have good references and everything stays nice. But without further ado, let's set the fence and start cutting. First things first, whenever you come up to use a bandsaw, make sure you've got your safety specs handy. You got to adjust the blade guard. So that on this machine is this yellow piece here. It is adjusted with a lock on the back, which I unlock, and this crank on the side. You want this set as low as possible while still making sure that you clear all of the wood. This blade guard also houses the bearings and everything, which help keep your cut good. If you raise this all the way, your support would be way up here, and that's not fantastic. So make sure this is as low as possible while still being usable. Once I'm happy with that, I just need to find the center of this piece. A nice trick that I learned a while ago was, instead of measuring this properly like one should, bring in the fence and eyeball it and just guess. That there. Now if I run the blade, it'll take a little, I'm only going to allow it to cut a little bit, and then I will flip this around, so I'm using the other face, and I'll check it. And that cut should line up perfectly on both sides. And if it does line up perfectly, I know I've got the blade set dead in the center of this piece. So I will position the wood right in front of the blade, like so. Move our little support in here. I'm not pushing it too hard against it, and I will lock off the back. Now I like to give the front just a little bit of pressure and lock it off. So the wood should still be able to move nice and easily, but it should be giving just enough support. And now we're set. With it all set up, ready to go, I've got my fence in place, I've got my featherboard in place. I'm gonna just call it a featherboard from now on. It's pretty much good to go. I am going to just set this up, hold it against the fence here, and probably like that, so at the top and the bottom of the fence, which I know is also square to the table. And then I'm going to very, very gently feed the wood through. And I'm gonna just go nice and slow. This is a big cut through some very hard wood, and I'm not gonna force it. If I force it, then the blade is going to bend and it's gonna curve, and it's just not going to go well. If I'm nice and gentle and careful with it, it will cut really, really nicely. And in a couple of minutes, we shall have a nice book matched piece that we can use for a nice carved top. So, headphones on, eye protection on, extraction on, and let's get going. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, look at that. That is stunning. With a bit of water on it, it smells amazing too. That is so nice. And the finish is great off it as well. Look at that. It's like a love heart or a plumb bob in the middle. It's upside down for you guys, but I get you some shots. That is it. That is how you split and resaw a piece of wood into a guitar top. This is now ready to be planed straight on the edges, joined together, and made into something very, very nice. If you want to know how I plane up tops in particular, check out my video on shooting boards. That is the perfect way to join something like this, although this may be slightly too thick. So check out my video on how to use a plane to join, I think it's body blanks, but it's the same thing, exactly the same. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. If you did any of those above, liked it, enjoyed it, whatever, head down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit the bell notification for more content. And thank you so much for watching.